Greetings, everyone. Well, it's update time again. Yes. Gonna do it all in one this time rather than splitting it up across a few, just because. I have a fair amount of stuff here, but I think we can cover it fairly quickly. So, comic books and Blu-rays. Update time. Today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Okay, so let's start with comic books, shall we? Because I can put them in the back row here and put the Blu-rays in front of them. Alright, so starting off, it seems like I always start off with one of these. We've got issue number 13 of Jem and the Holograms. So this is part 3 of the Dark Jem storyline. Very cool. Got Pizzazz there looking very sad and forlorn. In the story, she was in a car accident and actually lost her voice and has been on the mend for a while. In the meantime, the Misfits have been carrying on without her, trying out new singers to take over the lead singer spot for their concert tour. And she's feeling very, very much like she's being kind of left out in the cold. Next up, we have issue 14 of Jem and the Holograms, which has part 4 of the Dark Jem storyline. I'm not sure how long the Dark Jem story is. I'm guessing it's 6 parts because it's still going. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in a couple months. Next up, we have issue number 23 of Big Trouble in Little China. I should mention, it has been announced that Big Trouble in Little China has been canceled. Issue number 25 will be the final issue. So, those of you wondering if you're going to be able to get caught up, if you haven't been caught up yet, well, now you know how many there will be. So apparently, so this is the second last part of the final story arc, I believe, and then there's going to be one big, massive finale issue with number 25. Apparently, issue 25 will feature all of the previous artists to work on the series, so it's going to be a big extravaganza finale. They're really sending the series off with a bang, which is pretty awesome. I'm glad they're doing that, giving it a good send off. The covers for the latest story arc, I have to say, you saw issues 21 and 23 last time. Sorry, I'm just going to just realized my camera is unplugged and the battery is dying. So hold on a second. There we go. All right. What was I saying? Yeah, the latest story arc just had really nice covers, I have to say. Mind you, the series just in general has had really nice covers and really nice variety of artists on there, and just generally been a lot of fun. If you're a fan of the movie, definitely check out the comic. It's an absolute blast. And speaking of comics based on John Carpenter movies starring Kurt Russell, we have issue number 13. Was there a crumb on there? I felt a crumb. Yeah, there was a little crumb on there. All right. We got issue number 13 of Escape from New York. And issue number 14 of Escape from New York. Escape from New York has also been canceled. It's actually completely done now. The final issue was number 16. When I picked these up, my intention was to get the last 4 issues, but they didn't have any left of numbers 15 and 16, so I actually ordered them, special ordered them through the comic store. Always support your local comic stores, because there's, with digital media being what it is nowadays, they can use all the help they can get. And I'm old-fashioned. I like to hold a comic book in my hand when I read it. Same with books, just generally. I prefer those over e-readers. And yeah. Next up, we got some good old crazy laughs with issue number 8 of Invader Zim. I'm all caught up on reading this, and I have to say I'm having an absolute blast with it. It is just as nuts as the show was, and just a lot of fun. I keep hoping, like in the audio commentaries for the old DVD set, Jonan Vasquez and some of the other creative team were talking about some plans they had for the I guess the 3rd season had it continued, and I keep hoping that maybe they'll adapt some of those storylines for the comic. Thus far, they haven't. The comic's kind of gone off in its own direction, and most of the stories in the issues are just kind of individual standalone stories. There's not really a continuity to it. There is a continuity to like the first 2 issues. Beyond that, they're all kind of standalone stories. So that, you know, if I have one issue with the Invader Zim comic, I would like to see a little bit more continuity to it, but I don't know, maybe it's just kind of what they're going for more of a crazy standalone thing, because, I mean, doing it in that format means that there are occasions where Zim is free to destroy the world, and there are a few issues where he does actually destroy the world, and then it's just kind of forgotten about in the next issue as if it never happened. And I know there was some episodes of the show that were like that as well. I just hope that they don't do that all the time. It'd be nice to see a little bit more of a continuing storyline of some kind. Because, I mean, it certainly does have the potential to be something of a zany saga, you know. And there was continuity to the show as well. I mean, there was references back to other episodes and things like that. So, anyway. Now, speaking of a show that is off the wall and zany and does have continuity to it, and is, you know, definitely not one for the kiddies, but one for grown-ups like us, we have Rick and Morty. Yes, I really need to get the Blu-ray sets of this. I've watched every single episode. We do get Adult Swim here in Canada. And I absolutely love this show just to death. I just marathoned both seasons. One of my coworkers had recommended it to me and said it's kind of like what if, you know, Doc Brown and Marty just went off on even crazier and zanier adventures, and what if Doc Brown was a raging alcoholic? And it's so hard to describe this show. Just watch it. It's hilarious. It's off the wall. It goes to some really dark places sometimes, like dark but humor. Like there's a lot of black humor in it and stuff. And I just love it. I've absolutely fallen in love with it. And I have to say, this comic book version is just as good as the show, like 100% just as good as the show. It is just as funny. The artwork style is bang on perfect. I mean, it is just, it's an absolute treat. You know, just take a look. You can see, that looks like, it could be like a frame right out of the show, you know. But that said, I mean, the comic does go off in its own direction and has its own ongoing storyline that doesn't interfere or anything with the TV show. But it very much has the same vibe as the show, and if you enjoy the show, you will enjoy the comic. There's no question. I sat down, I powered through this trade paperback. It's the first 5 issues in this trade paperback. I powered through the whole thing in one sitting. I just couldn't put it down. It was funny. It was exciting. It's got a great storyline, and it's just a lot of fun, especially if you're a fan of the show. So yeah, so check that out. All right. That is it for the comics. I think Volume 2 of this is coming out any day now. They're up to issue 13 of the individual issues, so I would assume the next volume of this will be along very shortly. Okay, so next up we got some Blu-rays. Let's see, what do we got here? We got, well, actually, let's start with some bargain bin finds. So bargain bin, we got Tropic Thunder, yes, which I used to own back in the day. This may look familiar. Used to own it, ended up selling it during one of the purges of years past. Have been wanting to get it back in the collection ever since because I think it's just a hilarious movie and I love it. So, yeah, $5 bin at Best Buy, $4.99. Can't go wrong there. So, pretty cool. Also from the $5 bin, as you know, I have the Scream Factory edition of the original film. I used to have the sequel on Laserdisc back in the day, and I think on Laserdisc I actually had the second one before I had the first one. But anyway, I know some fans shit on the second one. I've always liked it. I still think the first one's better, obviously, but the second one's still a lot of fun. You just don't take it too seriously. Just enjoy it for what it's meant to be. We have Escape from L.A. There you go. Snake is back. Nothing in the way of extras on here. You've got the theatrical trailer. But that said, the theatrical trailer is kind of cool because it does have some additional bits with Snake that are not in the movie. So some stuff filmed just for the trailer where he actually addresses the camera. And then last but not least from the bargain bins, I actually picked this one up because I remember Stoudman picked this up a few years ago, and he was just raving about it. He said he'd heard about it, didn't know much about it, picked it up on a whim, and just fell in love with it. Said it was a fantastic classic film that pays tribute to another classic and even earlier classic era of film. We have Sunset Boulevard. Yes. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. That's the one. That's the one it's from. But, yeah, so anyway, $4.99, and this is absolutely loaded. Like, I don't know how well you can see that, but this is absolutely loaded with extras. I mean, this is a hell of a deal to find in the $5 bin. You know, I mean, that's awesome. And then next up, no real deals here, just basically bought them ever so slightly on sale. They're still fairly new releases. Picked up, excuse me, it's getting late. Long work week. Picked up Crimson Peak, which, contrary to popular belief, is not a horror movie. It's actually a gothic romantic movie with some horror elements to it. So very nice. Has the slipcover, of course, the latest film from Guillermo del Toro. Very cool stuff. I love gothic, the gothic aesthetic, the gothic literature style, and all of that. So I'm actually really looking forward to checking this one out. So very cool. Then next up, I'm sure just about everybody has this in some form. I was very late to the party. I didn't even know this was coming until shortly before its release, even though they had released many teaser trailers prior to that. So I checked out the trailers, thought it looked fantastic. I was really impressed by just the really unique kind of animation style they chose, kind of a mix between 2D and 3D. They almost look like puffy stickers, I guess, if you will. What am I talking about? The Peanuts movie. Yeah, gotta love some Peanuts. You can never go wrong with Peanuts. So yeah, very cool. I've not watched this yet. Rosie and I are probably gonna watch it sometime this week. But yeah, really, really cool. So this was on sale for $25. Normally goes for $33. This is, of course, the 3D edition. There is a 4K edition out as well. Yeah, I don't know how that compares. The 4K version does not have the 3D edition. It's a Fox release. I should mention something. Apparently, Fox's initial wave of Ultra HD 4K releases, I don't know if this applies to all of them, but it applies to a good chunk of them, are apparently 2K upconverts. They're not actually true 4K. So you're not even getting the full benefit of 4K with some of those releases. So just be aware of that if you're looking to invest in Ultra HD. The Martian is one of them, apparently. So what that means is 2K is roughly Blu-ray quality. So if you're looking to get the boost in quality that 4K gives you, you're not going to get that with the 2K upconvert. It's like getting a Blu-ray upconverted from a DVD. It's like well, maybe not quite that bad, but you know, it's not giving you the full benefit. So just be aware of that. Apparently, a lot of Fox's initial wave of titles are just upconverts. So wait for wave 2, because that's when you should start to see the real 4K stuff. I haven't heard of any such complaints from other studios releasing 4K stuff, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it's still very early, so I'm not planning to jump on the 4K bandwagon just yet. Besides, I don't have a 4K TV anyway. I only just got a couple of 1080p TVs, so yeah, we're all fine here for now. Next up, picked up the latest installment from the DC Universe original movie saga. We have Justice League versus Teen Titans. Yes, very good stuff. I still need to get caught up on these. I think I say that every time I buy one. I still need to get caught up on them. Well, I still need to get caught up on them. I need to sit down and have a marathon. Maybe just do like a couple solid weeks of reviews of them or something. Would you guys like that? Let me know. Let me know if you'd like me to just do a review-a-thon of all of the DC Universe animated movies. Well, not all of them, but the ones I haven't seen yet anyway. And last, but certainly not least, I just picked up Season 2, was in Costco with the folks, and they graciously treated me not only to this one, well, also a ton of groceries, but they treated me to this one, and also to this one, which was on sale for, I think it was $39.99, which is about half price. Got Season 3 of Game of Thrones. Yes, there we go. So now I have the first 3 seasons on Blu-ray. This is just a backing. It comes off. There we go. Very cool. So I got the first 3 seasons. I just need seasons 4 and 5, and then I will be all up to date with les Blu-ray releases. And yes, I have seen the premiere episode of season 6. I am not going to fall behind in the show. Game of Thrones is one that I never fall behind on. I always stay up to date on that one because it's just freaking awesome, and I love it. And this season's really exciting because they're all caught up to the books. So now we're into uncharted territory, stuff where nobody knows what's going to happen. So definitely want to be avoiding spoilers for that. So yeah, I will be watching them as they air, basically. I do have a subscription to HBO, and of course I also buy the Blu-rays eventually. Alrighty, and that is it for the updates, I think. Is that everything? Just double check. Got other stuff. Just other random things I've been watching, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, that's it. We're done. Okay, cool. So, yeah, not a ton of stuff, but definitely some notables there. Some things that I needed for the collection. You know, Game of Thrones, could get Tropic Thunder back in there. Escape from LA to complete that set. The new DC movie. Peanuts, because you need peanuts. And, of course, all the comic books. So I guess with Escape from New York and Big Trouble in Little China being canceled, that opens up a couple of collecting slots. So there's a few other comics I've had my eye on. I don't know. We'll see. Or I might actually, you know, and I might sort of channel that back into trade paperbacks because, you know, I do like the value of trade paperbacks versus buying individual issues. I mean, individual issues of comic books now are basically, after all is said and done here in Canada, you're looking at about $5 for a single issue. Back in the day when I was a lad, $5 would get you a graphic novel, like what you would pay $20 for now, you could get for $5 back then. So maybe $6, you know, that was considered expensive. But nowadays, like, yeah, $5 gets you a single issue of a comic book. Now, that said, the print quality of a modern comic versus what they were when I was a kid is way better now. I mean, they're all on glossy paper, just beautiful quality. Yeah, back then they were basically newsprint, so I mean, they were a lot cheaper to make. It was an era when people just generally had a lot more money. And, you know, you get a $20 for your allowance, that would get you 20 comics. Nowadays, it'll get you 4. So, yeah. I also noticed comics back then were a lot more verbose and just generally took a lot longer to read. They're more dense with the words and the narration and stuff. The words and the narration. The word balloons, you know what I mean, and the narration. But nowadays they just seem to be a little lighter. Not as much. I noticed not as much narration in modern comics. It's almost all dialogue now. I don't know when it sort of evolved to that, but it seems like the narrator of comics doesn't seem to be as common now as it used to be. It's interesting to me. I was away from comics for a very long time. It's only the past couple of years I've started to get back into them, really. And only really this past year that I've been reading more sort of current comics. So it's interesting to me to see how they've changed over the years. I mean, having that huge gap in collecting. But hey, that's what trade paperbacks are for, right? Get caught up on all those missing years. Alrighty, I'm just rambling now. Comics are awesome. Gotta love them. Alrighty, that is it for me to you for now. So big thanks to my Patreon sponsors, especially Kyle Pellegrini, my current highest level sponsor still to this day. You rock, dude. Thank you very much. Please do consider becoming a Patreon sponsor because it means I can just do more updates and more frequent videos for you and stuff like this. Contrary to popular belief, my channel is not becoming a video game channel. I'm just doing more video game stuff. That doesn't mean I'm going to be doing less of the other stuff. I'm just kind of getting a good stock of video game videos in the can first to get those under control, and then we'll be moving on and doing, well, not moving on, but in addition to doing other, you know, the other movie and cartoon related stuff as well. I actually got a lot of really cool stuff in the planning stages right now for the forthcoming months. I'll, you know, I'll give you more info about those as it gets closer to actually being seen on your YouTube screens. Until then, looking to get most if not all of the regular features back on track as of the first week of May. So not too much longer to wait. I do have some time coming up this weekend, so probably going to film a bunch of stuff then for the coming month. Alrighty, that is definitely it for me to you for now. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Until then, thanks for watching, and sayonara. Today on the Multimedia Chronicles. I think I skipped the D in today. Today. It's today. 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 Today.